Do you want to know the 3 best kinds of businesses to start, even if it is true that we're heading into recession? And we may not be, because everyone who's ever predicted that the sky is falling down since the history of the world, well, they've been wrong. So with that in mind, I'd like to share with you today 3 great businesses to start right now in 2023, even if we're heading into recession. You know I do a lot of sales training videos, so I will tell you, while this is not a sales training video, if you are in the sales profession or you know you have to get out and acquire new customers through direct selling yourself, the first one that I share with you will be great for you. And that is any business that involves agency or brokerage. That means those are businesses where you've got 2 parties within a market and you, the agent in the middle, are bringing them together, or you are brokering that transaction. So the first best kind of business to start, even if you're in a challenging economy, is agency or brokerage. Now, some of the obvious ones that will come to mind would be things like insurance or real estate. And you know, why would I do real estate? I thought everybody was getting out of real estate. That's exactly why you would do real estate. The average people are getting out of real estate. The excellent people are staying in real estate. The great Warren Buffett says that if everyone is running out of a burning building, you should be running into that burning building. That's his investment strategy. When the masses and when the mob is terrified and when they panic, that's when you need to be cool and level-headed and go in the opposite direction of the mob. So real estate would be a good one. You know, my industry, which is business brokerage, is a great business to be in, even in a recession. People still need to convert their business asset into a different form of capital. So a lot of people turning 65 have businesses that they are looking to sell, and who better than a great broker or agent to help conduct that or transact that for them. Now, that's not the only kind of agency or business that you can start, or businesses that you can start in the agency and brokerage realm. Anywhere where there's 2 markets. And here's the great thing. You're like, well, yeah, but we're still in a recession. Let me tell you something. Do you know that 1909 was the worst recession that we have ever seen as a country? At least up until that period. And the next time we would see hard times as bad as they were in 1909 would be in 1929, following the crash of the stock market. And that went on for about 4 years. And that was a really bad time. They called that actually the Great Depression, which is even worse than a recession. It's like a 1 level worse. But do you know what? In all of those eras, great businesses were started. In 1909, during that first rough period, UPS was started. And that was a great example of agency. And anytime I give you any of these businesses that are great businesses to start in a recession, pay close attention, because some of them check more than 1 box. No pun intended with the UPS, of course. So UPS started in 1909, and it was a really challenging time for America financially. But they decided that this party over here needed to get their package to this party over here. And they said, we're going to provide that service. We're going to take the work out of it for you. We're going to do the heavy lifting. And people loved it. They scarfed up that service. And even though it started in a recession, here we are more than 110 years later, almost 115 years later, UPS is still going strong. And they are not missing a beat. They're growing every year. Their stocks have soared through the moon, and most of their workers have a nasty habit of retiring as millionaires if they were smart enough to, invest in the company stock. So that's just one example. Another example of agency and great businesses that can be started during a recession is the grocery business. For example, do you know that Publix, which is one of the greatest grocery stores in America, was started in 1929 to 1933, which means that they started right smack dab at the beginning of the worst economic times in American history, the Great Depression. By the way, so did another great grocery store chain by the name of Hy-Vee, which incidentally sponsors quite a few of the world champion Super Bowl Kansas City Chiefs football games. And they were started during the Depression. So don't listen to the talking heads, because they don't know what they're talking about when it relates to you. The only person that can set your path and predict your destiny or dictate your destiny is you. You just have to act. So those are a couple of good examples of agency. So what's another great kind of business to start during a depression, or during a recession, or during an economic downturn, or when times are hard? Another great example of a business that you can start during tough times is really any type of business that offers an escape portal for people. Well, like, because if people are so worried that times are tough, maybe they need to bury themselves in their entertainment, or maybe they need to find some social outlet for themselves. And do you know what? One such company did exactly that. Little known outfit by the name of Facebook, also known as Meta now, in 2004, following the dot-com bust, when so many of the dot-com businesses went out of business because they just couldn't figure out a way to make money, Facebook ran in to the abyss, and they said, we're going to start a company. It doesn't matter. They understood that 9/11 had just happened a few short years ago, but they said, we're going to make this work, and we don't care what happens. So they were right on the heels of a downturn, an economic downturn called the dot-com bust, and then they were just ahead of the next recession that started late 2006, early 2007. But they knew that people would want to escape. You want to know another one? Airbnb. Airbnb. They said, we're going to get in the escape business. People want luxury travel and they want it to be affordable. People who own properties want to get a high return for that property, and they couldn't sell them, and buyers couldn't get mortgages. So they had these beautiful properties sitting there. They said, you know what? We're going to use a great service that just showed up, and it's called Airbnb, that allows us to put our nice home in the hands of everyday people who want to travel, but want something a little bit better than a hotel. And that is the kind of escape portal that can really convert to a lot of cash and add up to big bucks for somebody just like you. So, what's another kind of business that you can start? We already said agency and brokerage. We already said escape portal businesses. Well, finally, there's royal treatment for regular people. Do you know there's an upscale beverage company called Ocean Spray? Started during the Depression. And people thought, why would people pay extra to get, a fruit juice when they can just get some run-of-the-mill name brand fruit juice, or worse yet, go out in their backyard and squeeze their own? But something about that titling and that name, Ocean Spray, and the relief that it offered people, it checked two boxes. It was a little bit escape portal, and it was bringing the royal treatment to regular people, which is the third kind of business you want to start. Royal treatment for regular people? How about this? Uber. No more standing in the rain trying to flag down a cab who acts like they can't see you, right? You can just jump on your phone, order up an Uber. The little map will show you where the guy is or the lady is en route to pick you up and take you to your destination with no hassles. You'll get in. If they're a really good Uber driver, they'll offer you a soft drink and ask you what kind of music you like. And it's just a wonderful time. They are bringing the royal treatment to everyday people. They're also providing agency. They are actually connecting a traveler in one location, and they are taking them to a desired location. And that is a form of agency, and that is a form of brokerage. Uber is taking drivers who want to earn a living and connecting them with passengers who want a convenient, comfortable way to travel that's a little bit nicer for them than just your run-of-the-mill yellow cab. Fantastic. So they've checked two boxes: agency and the royal treatment for regular people. And that's just one example, or another example, of a company that started right at the beginning of a recession. So you've got agency, you've got escape portals, and you've got royal treatment for regular people. Here's what I want to share with you. The only person that can dictate and that can predict how fantastic your business is going to be is you. You can listen to the naysayers who want to talk about the collapsing dollar, the raising interest rates, the foreign relations with China or Russia or some other country. All of those things are real, but they are also real distractions. Well, Mark, how can you call that a distraction? It's a really big thing. It's important. Foreign relations is important. Rising interest rates are important. Yes, they are. But they're still a distraction, Because if you're focusing on something that you can't do anything about at the expense of the things that you can do something about, they are simply a distraction. You know, I love basketball. So one of the things that I fall back on are things that I learned from great basketball coaches. Now, one of the world's greatest basketball coaches, Coach John Wooden, used to have a saying that was true for basketball and incidentally true for you starting your business. And I'd like to leave you with this one thought. When you take any of these 3 great ideas that I gave you and you get out there and you start immediately building your business, remember this. As you hear the bad economic news or rumors, don't let what you cannot do keep you from doing what you can do. If that is the thing that you needed to hear to catapult you into action so that you can build a great and fantastic business for yourself, perhaps the next Airbnb, perhaps the next UPS, or perhaps the first whatever business you can dream up, go out there and make it happen. If you like this video, make sure that you tune in to our next video, because if you like this one, you're really going to love that one.